My 27F fiancé's ex is now my older brother's wife, so my sil. To make it less confusing, my fiancé is George, my brother is David, and my sil is Ella. George, 38M, briefly dated Ella, 34F, 4 years ago. Ella wanted to get married and have kids, but George did not want this with her. He was also having a lot of issues back then, partying, doing drugs, and not being the most reliable person. They dated for 6 months and everything ended in drama because Ella was not able to make George want to settle with her. Soon after their breakup, she met my brother and they got married 6 to 7 months after. So yeah, they moved really fast, and basically Ella dated her ex, broke up with him, met my brother and got married to him. Everything in only 1 year and a couple of months. I met George 2 years ago, and at that time Ella was already married to my bro. Back then I had no idea that George was Ella's ex. When George started to feel attracted to me, he changed completely. He quit drinking and doing drugs. He has been sober ever since, started going to therapy, and overall became a new person. He did this because he wanted to change, and I have been with him during his entire healing journey. I am very proud of him, and we have a healthy and amazing relationship. Even if Ella was already married to my brother, she was furious when she found out I was dating George and that he was serious with me. She was so cruel and said a lot of nasty lies. She used to tell everyone that George was grooming me. I was 25 when we became a thing and he was 36. This is not grooming FFS. She lied that George was abusing me, trying to get me to become an addict like him, and many other things. This ruined my relationship with my brother because he never did anything to make her stop. George and I announced our engagement to my family last week during my dad's birthday. My parents were happy for us, but Ella said it must be nice to be the one to get the ring after someone else struggled to fix him. Again, no reaction from my brother as usual. My parents told her to stop, but I just snapped and told her something along the lines, he fixed himself, you pause. And yes, it is nice to know I will be married to the man I love more than anything and who loves me the same. But how is it for you knowing that no one else except my idiot brother ever wanted to marry you? Does it feel nice? My parents kicked them out after this. They told her that everybody had enough of her BS. She is insane because Al Thug being married, she is still bitter over the fact that her ex did not want her. She is officially banned from every family event and my brother is now blaming me. Update 1. Yesterday I contacted my brother and asked him to meet me for coffee. It was only the two of us, and I think it was the first time I have opened my heart like this in front of him. I started off by apologizing for him being caught in the middle, but I told him I will never apologize or be sorry for loving George. I was honest and told him how much this situation has been affecting me. My brother is the same age as my fiancé, so he is 11 years older than me. During our childhood he was my protector, the person I looked up to. Due to our age difference, we never really had many activities in common, and I could not wait for the moment I grow up so I can get to share more with my brother as adults. But I did not get the chance to do this because of Ella. David would always teach me to value myself, to choose people who treat me right and make me happy. However, I am not able to share my happiness with him anymore. I understand why he would wish I never met George, but it still hurts knowing that your brother somehow resents the source of your happiness. David would always defend me when I was younger, even in front of our parents. When I was 15, I was experimenting with makeup and it looked bad, really bad. During a family function, one of our uncles got drunk and told me to stop using makeup because I was too young to look like a hooker. David got mad and kicked him out for offending his sister. This is the kind of brother he used to be, and to now see how he stays aside and allows his wife to be offensive and cruel, it's really hurtful. I do not care that she is like that towards me. I don't like Ella at all and I could easily ignore her. But what gets to me the most is she constantly trying to belittle and humiliate my future husband. I have lived with this man for 2 years. I have shared so many things with him during this time, and I am certain I know better what kind of man he is. I know how hard it was for him to heal all his trauma. I know how hard he worked day by day to become the best version of himself. I know how much he loves me, protects me, supports me, and I simply lose it when I hear her crap and how she is constantly trying to bring him down. Yes, I go bear mode when he is involved, as someone told me in the comments, but I don't care. I will not allow any of my family members to abuse the person I love. I may have tolerated things for my brother's sake, but I will never be quiet in front of his h of a wife. I told my brother that I love him and I will always cherish the memories I have with him, but we cannot go on like this. I understand he is a victim and I am ready to do anything for him if he is willing to accept that his marriage is not good, that Ella is not a good woman and is abusing him. I cannot force him to divorce her because this has to be his choice, but I told him I will accept his decision no matter what that is. He will always be my brother, but George is my family now. We plan on having kids in the near future and there is no way in hell I will ever allow his lunatic of a wife to be near my kids. I also refuse to subject George to the abuse. We tried. We thought that this rough period will eventually pass and that everything will be okay, but unfortunately Ella became more and more bitter and disgusting. We will still see my parents, but I am standing my ground and will not go to their house if she is present. David and I cried a lot, and for the first time in many years I felt like I had my brother back. He apologized over and over again and explained a lot of things to me which gave me the chance to understand him better. But at the same time I am so angry that I had no idea what was happening to my brother. Some people said that David was a rebound for Ella, but it seems they were both a rebound for the other. What made them marry so fast was the age pressure. My brother was feeling like it was very hard to connect with someone, and the prospect of being able to have a family of his own seemed very far away until Ella came and offered him the possibility to have exactly what he wanted without too much struggle. So yeah. In the end, I guess we are all some messed up people in a way or another. I don't know what's going to happen. David said he plans to take some time, go away alone for a couple of days and think what he wants to do. But he said that when he'll be back he wants to have a chat with George to apologize to him as well for everything that has happened. My brother knows that everything Ella says is false. He said everyone is able to see how much George loves me and that we make a great couple, and there are times when he wished to also have something like this in his life. He told me he is proud of the woman I have become and that no matter what happens, I will always be his little sister. After this I went home and cried some more with George besides me. I have tried to play strong and denied myself to feel hurt for so long that yesterday I have finally exploded. But it was good because now I feel better. Update 2. As planned, David did take some time for himself and went to a retreat cabin for a week. He went there alone because he wanted to have the space and time to rethink his life choices. This was exactly what he told Ella, but left out the location because he did not want to risk her showing up there. The first day he was away, Ella contacted my parents and me to ask us about my brother's location. We did not disclose anything. On Wednesday that week I was contacted by some of my brother's friends. They wanted to know if my brother was okay and if it was true that David was cheating on Ella. Initially I was very confused on why would they think that, but they told me that Ella has been going around complaining to people that my brother was cheating on her and that we, his family, were on board with it and covering up his affair. I told my bro's friends that this was not true, but I decided to be petty, so I went on social media, uploaded a photo of me with my brother and wrote how proud I am of him that he is taking this time to focus on mental health and his well-being. Some hour later Ella called me and demanded I take down my post because I was embarrassing her. I played dumb and asked her why would a post dedicated to my brother would ever embarrass her. She never answered, never admitted to lying, and I never took down my post. It will stay where it is for posterity. After my brother returned from the retreat he asked me, George and my parents to meet up at our parents' place and talk. He apologized for everything that happened with his wife and told us a lot of things about Ella. Apparently she is a very jealous person and she has a constant need to put others down so she can look better or feel superior. Bro gave us a lot of examples of shitty things she did, including to some of her relatives and supposed friends. One of her female cousins works for a transport company, so most of her colleagues at work are men. Ella told this cousin's husband that there are high chances of her cousin cheating since she spends every day surrounded by men. Her cousin was pregnant at that time, and I don't know if she was trying to imply the baby may not be her husband's, but still. Needless to say, they don't speak to Ella anymore. She had a girlfriend who got into a relationship with a guy. Ella kept telling this girl bad things about her partner that she supposedly heard from other people. She was never able to tell who she heard it from. Most likely she invented everything. That's why her family members avoid her and never invite her to functions, and she does not have any friends. People from their circle were friends with my bro before he married her, so they are just tolerating her for his sake. I mentioned that Ella must be abusing my brother and a lot of people took it the wrong way. When I mentioned abuse, I did not mean it as physical abuse, but more like emotional abuse. I guess everyone has their own way of seeing things, but for me, being married and still being pissed about things that happened with your ex years ago is clearly a sign of disrespect towards your spouse. And if someone is able to openly disrespect their spouse over and over again in front of their family, it's a high chance for that person to do more than disrespect behind closed doors. My bro clearly struggles to see his self-worth at the moment, and this is also the reason why he accepted too many things from his wife. But we will be with him, always support him and remind him what an awesome guy he is. Also, many people were outraged and called me an off for calling my brother an idiot. I don't know if all of your families and relationships are like those you see in commercials, but in real life siblings fight, and sometimes when they fight, they may call each other's names. This doesn't mean I don't love my brother or that I don't respect him, but if I see him acting like an idiot, I will always say it to his face and explain why I think he is an idiot. I apologized for calling him an idiot, and he said there is no need to apologize because he expects me to always be honest with him, even if sometimes the truth may hurt. And I understand because I expect the same from him. Anyways, David confronted Ella with everything that she has been doing and told her she needs to get help. She refuses to accept she has any problem. She states that everything that she has ever done came from a place of love and care for that person, right? Because when you care for your cousin you lie to her husband that she may be cheating on him, or when you care for your sil you lie to everyone that she is forced to do drugs by her partner. She did not take the divorce well, but not because she was losing my brother, but because she saw this as a failure that shattered her perfect image she had of herself. Maybe after some time passes I will actually be able to feel sorry for her because she is a sad person with so many issues that refuses to get help. Of course Ella blamed the divorce on me and our family, claiming that David is choosing us over her, so clearly she does not take any kind of responsibility for her actions. David however warned her that if she continues spreading lies about our family, we will hire a lawyer and take legal actions against her. At the end of the day, if she still insists with her crap, she will have to prove everything in court. Of course we don't want to get to this, but she needs to understand that we cannot say whatever we want about other people and not face the consequences. In the meantime, George and I are planning our wedding and my bro will be George's groomsman. They really had the chance to bond and even discovered they actually have a lot in common. I don't want to be mean, but ever since Ella is out of the picture, our family gatherings happen more often than before and the atmosphere is so light. My brother is slowly going back to his old self. He is having a good time with us, no stress, no dissociating, he is just present and enjoying. So that's it for now. Now on to second story. Started an open relationship with my girlfriend hoping for fairness. Now I'm her financial supporter and third wheel to their passion. My girlfriend, 27F, and I, 29M, opened our relationship a little over 2 years ago. Obviously, she had more success than I did, but I've had a couple of dates here and there. Non-monogamy isn't really a world for men with social anxiety. One of the rules that she wanted to establish was no emotions, just sex. While I accepted the rule, I said from the beginning that having absolutely no emotions isn't realistic. Inevitably you will start to feel something for someone. Long story short, I was right. She met this guy, 27M, they developed feelings, we talked, and now we are a poly, I guess. Don't really know what to call it. Trouble doesn't seem right since he and I aren't dating. But neither of us guys have other partners outside of her. Anyway, we've had this structure for about 7 months now and it's going fine. She seems to be happy. I just don't see what place I have in this relationship. Not sure if that place really even exists. In monogamy is much easier to see. It's only the two of you. But here, not so much. I'm happy that she's happy, but I don't really think needed. I've talked to many and researched things, but none of those arguments make sense to me. They may have sex with others, but y'all have an emotional bond. In our case, she has one with both of us. As I think emotional connections are a dime a dozen. You have one at some point in everyone you date. Sexual chemistry is way more rare and usual is just there or it isn't. And from the unfortunate time that I walked into our apartment and didn't know he was there, it is very clear they have incredible sexual chemistry. Emotional connections can be developed anytime. So what security is there in that? Monogamy doesn't exist sounds good, but not sure if that plays out well. Especially seeing that the only person not monogamous here is her. We are both basically in a monogamous relationship, and while you supposedly can't expect to get all you need from one person, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. But only from half of that person. Every connection is unique and special, maybe so, but ours clearly wasn't enough. She needed more. I didn't. I was happy and fulfilled. She wanted other experiences. But that stopped when she met him. And while I try not make it a competition, she clear has a level of passion for him that she doesn't for me. She won't have sex with me when he's around. I have to wait until he leaves. She asked me to leave when she wants to have sex with him. She's isn't nearly as cuddly with me either. At this point, it feels like the only reason I'm around is because we are entangled, money, lease, cars, etc. I also know that I'm here emotional support for hard stuff. Working in EMS, I've learned to stay calm and clear in high stress situations. I'm also supporting her financially with schooling, but I'd like to be more than just an ATM and a security blanket. Don't really know what to do about all this. So much of what I've read talks about not comparing, just getting over jealousy, giving people autonomy, don't be attached/dependent, etc. Don't know where that leaves me. While not really relevant, I'm going through some significant health issues. It's uncertain if I'm going to make it through. She doesn't know about it. Haven't found a good time to say. Maybe that's why I'm just being emotional and insecure. I know both are terrible traits in a man. Anyway, I guess this just turned into a vent, but any thoughts or input is welcome. Edit, I'm a firefighter and hazmat tech. It's most likely that my health issues are related to a work incident. Therefore, the people I work with know. I have told any family or friends yet. At this point, I could come out most okay or could have until the end of the year. I'm trying to wait until we know more. Edit 2, she and I live together. He has his own place but has 3 male roommate. GF doesn't feel as comfortable there. Update 1. Long story short, I pretty much ignored everyone's advice. Not really. I do appreciate all the input that I got on my last post. But every time I wanted to broach the subject, either something got in the way or I just chickened out. She is still seeing the other guy. Let's call him Caleb. Life kinda sucked at first since they were mostly using our house to avoid his roommates, but this summer he got his own place. So they no longer meet at ours. Which is great because accidentally coming home when they are together is not great. Hearing your GF scream another guy's name takes a long ass time to fade from memory. I've met the guy. He seems nice enough. Total opposite of me, so I see why she's so into him. Dude's like 6'2" with that lean surfer boy type look. I'm like 5 feet 7 inches and shaped like a tree stump, haha. Anyway, so that problem pretty much solved itself. She stays with him about 3 to 4 nights a week. Occasionally, she'll stay over for a long weekend or even a week. They've even gone on a few trips together. TBH, part of me is jealous, but at the same time, I see how she looks at him. I just don't have the heart to get in the way of that. Unfortunately, our sex life has taken a bit of a dive. Not long after they started seeing each other, we stopped being intimate as often. We still are, but it's only like 1 to 2 times a week. Everyone got tested and they've gone barrier free. Supposedly she was just tracking her cycle but did have a pregnancy scare. So now she's on birth control. I'm not particularly happy. I mean, I'm happy she's happy, but this isn't really what I pictured for my life. I always imagined having this passionate, loving relationship where we were everything to each other. Sometimes I just feel like more of a connivance than a partner. It's pretty obvious she was never into me as much as she is him. That sucks, but can't change it. On the health front, unfortunately I don't have great news to report. Turns out I do have cancer. It wasn't as aggressive as they thought, but it is terminal. At this point, I'm looking at somewhere around March. GF doesn't know. I know I'm an off for that. I'll tell her eventually. She's just not around much, and when she is I just want to be fun. I know I can't compete with Caleb, but I don't want to just be the sick one. I thought about just breaking up, but that seems mean. I recently saw Twilight for the first time. When I finished the part of Bella mourning Edward leaving, it made me wonder if she'd feel the same. TBH, I don't think she would. Caleb is pretty much primary at this point. So I'd rather be peaceful on the way out. When I do go, she'll have him. Work sucks because I can't ride the engine anymore. Once I got worn out walking up steps in bunker gear, I knew I can't fight fire anymore, so I'm just on the medic now. Update 2. I finally told my GF about my health issues. It was a long, rough night. Saturday night we went on a date. Usually she'd be with Caleb, but he's out of town visiting family for the holiday. I'd if he felt it was too early for her to meet his family or what, but I definitely thought I'd be alone for Christmas. But apparently she's staying here, so that's nice, I guess. We went to dinner and, after, got to go see Wicked. Not gonna lie, the dynamics between Glinda, the munchkin dude, and the prince made me wince a bit. Felt kinda close to home. Minus me stringing some poor girl along. Regardless, I did enjoy the movie a lot. We got home and curled up on the couch, and that's when we had our talk. Decided to withhold any info about how I've been feeling, as that felt pretty ancillary to the main topic. I basically just described how I'd been sick more and tired. Then told her about my annual physical from last year and all the doctor's visits since. Then I finally told her about the diagnosis and having until March. To say that this was hard is an understatement. I don't think I've ever seen her cry that hard. Or anybody for that matter. I'd what kind of reaction I was expecting, but not that. We kinda attempted to continue talking, but it was no use, so I just carried her to our room and held her until she cried herself to sleep. When I woke up Sunday morning, she wasn't in bed. My initial brain fog kinda forgot about what happened, but when I remembered, I went to find her. She was sitting at the table in the kitchen. She was still crying, but we were able to talk about everything. I told her about the bucket list, preparations I've made, etc. It was all smooth until she kinda jerked up, looked at me, and asked, "How long have you known?" It was at this point I knew I fucked up. As tempting as it was, I didn't lie. I told her I've known I would die for a year, and I found out when about 2 months back. OFC, she asked why I didn't tell her, and I didn't know what to say. She asked if I was trying to get back at her as some weird revenge, which kinda annoyed me a bit, but I let that go. I told her I was preoccupied with getting used to an open relationship, that it felt like it came out of nowhere, developed fast, became poly, and I was just being dragged along. That not having her around, hear them have sex, and watching her fall in love with someone else was hard enough. Predictably she got pissed. Felt like I was blaming her for who she is. And a few more unpleasant things. At this point I just listened as she yelled and screamed. She finished. I apologized for not telling her, but then asked, if this was all my issue, then how come your partner has been sick and dying for a year and you never noticed? I immediately regretted saying that because she kinda just broke. She didn't cry. She just went silent and sat down on the floor. I tried to comfort her, but she pulled away. So at this point I figured we needed space and I left. Went to a friend's house for the day. Sunday evening, I got a text from her asking me to come home. I did. When I got there she had ordered food. When she saw me, she ran up and hugged me. At this point we both cried. We ate and watched as a cake. Eventually she paused the show and we talked. She apologized for lashing out. Said she was just angry and confused. I apologized for what I said. She told me not to, and that what I said is what she felt. So when it was out in the open she just shut down. I told her that I love her and not to hold it against herself. At this point, she wanted to help me plan out the last few months. She also said that she'd be breaking up with Caleb, but I told her not to. If he actually loves her, she's gonna need his support. We will wait till after Christmas to fill him in. We talked more about plans and went to bed. Don't know what will come of this, but that's where we are now.